YouTube family, what is up everyone? This is the original Grown B and I'm bringing you some Injustice gameplay today, and if you watch the gameplay closely you will realize that it has a lot to do with what our topic of the video is today. When I first jumped back into fighting games, because again I was really big in first person shooters for a period of time, I got on Mortal Kombat X. And I started training in Mortal Kombat X and putting a lot of effort into practicing and just getting better as a player, and I would obviously run into people who would spam. And it was really frustrating to me because I felt like I put so much work into the game for someone to just kind of take a really lazy approach to the game. You know, losing is one thing, but understanding that someone hasn't bothered to truly learn the craft and just taking such a lazy approach to trying to get a victory, you know, it used to upset me. But then I realized, you know what? Why should I be upset? They're using a part of the game to be successful. And at the end of the day, they don't take the game very seriously. They may have it for a month or so and get off of it. And honestly, if I played them enough times, I would learn the weaknesses of their strategies and I would beat them. So it's fine if they get one win and move on feeling like they accomplished something. But I also kind of realize that this is a little bit like the video that I made the other day when I talk about playing comfortably. When someone is spamming you, you know, it starts to get you to play a little bit uncomfortable. That frustration kind of slips in. In this first match, although that guy was spamming with Aquaman, I should have won that match. There were many opportunities where I dropped my combos. I never used my super moves, and I just got a little frustrated and went for a super move. I don't normally do that, and maybe that's a strategy. So at the end of the day, I really kind of stopped being so frustrated by spammers and so against what it is that they do. But one thing that really does frustrate me, which is something that you're going to see in the second half of this gameplay, is people who have actually put a little work into the game, but then they decide to revert to spamming just so they can win. Now, what I mean by that is if you go into the match and you're playing and you're trying to practice some of the combos and moves that you've been using, and then you realize that maybe you're up against someone who is more skilled than you are, and as a result then you revert to spamming, that is something that I have no respect for, because that is something that makes me feel like winning should not be more important than getting better at the game. So when you decide, oh man, I'm losing, this is an opportunity for you to learn more about your character, learn more about your opponent, and learn different ways to play the game. And rather than take that opportunity to learn, you decide to revert to spamming. That is something that I have no respect for. If you've been practicing a few combos, if you've been practicing with a certain character, and yeah, you may be losing at this point, but don't shy away from what it is that you've been practicing. Keep practicing, keep grinding, and you will get better. But when people sacrifice an opportunity to get better just for something so cheap as a win, that's what's really frustrating to me. And that's what I feel like this Deadshot character did. This Deadshot character at the beginning of the match was not sitting in the back shooting off those guns. He wasn't. He was jumping, using different combos that he had in his arsenal, and it wasn't until, you know, that I really started to get ahead did he decide to start sitting back in the back, and that is just something I have no respect for. So this guy got a rude message after this game, and that's kind of all I wanted to bring to you guys today, is the fact that, you know what, spamming is going to be a little annoying. And you know what, there's some people who are just jumping on this game to spam for a little bit and then move on to some other game that they play. But if you've practiced and you have a few moves in your arsenal, don't bail on those few moves that you have in your arsenal just because you're in a position where you're losing the game. Keep grinding out, because to me, that type of player is worse than a dude who's just jumping on here to troll and spam and get a win here and there. But if you give up on what it is that you've been practicing, what it is that you've been trying, and what it is that you've actually been putting your effort into just so you can get a win, and then you sacrifice an opportunity to learn and get better, I have less respect for that than anything. And here we are at the end of the video. If you like the video, like it. If you think someone else might like it, share it. And if you want to see more, I'd really love for you to subscribe.